Today we're going to walk through Creative Cloud Audition Lesson 3, Waveform Editing. All right, so we are in Audition version 25. And we're going to open the file. I'm scrolling down in the lesson, and I'm just going to go right through the lesson with you guys. So we have Audition, and I'm going to say File, Open. And on D, I have the classroom in the book, Lesson Files, Lesson 3, and I want to open Narration 1. There it is, open in Waveform view. So it tried to open it in multi-track. I just had to switch over, open it up so it's in the editor in Waveform view. Okay, and we're going to make sure that we are in the default workspace, default, reset, to make sure it is the same as the book is describing. Now we're going to open multiple files simultaneously. File, open. And narration 2 through 5, and I'll hold down Shift to select all of them and say open. And now they're all loaded over here in the Files pane. And if I click on the little menu by editor, by narration, it shows these are all open. And we could close the one that's open or close all. And double-clicking the background of files opens up the Open to Import. And we will open the file Finish Soft by double-clicking. Finish Soft. Okay, and we're going to keep Audition open and prep for the next exercise and make a new multi-track session, File, New, Multi-track Session. And I'm going to name this Chapter 3 and put it where I'm storing all of these. This is Lesson Files. I'll make a new folder for Lesson 3 Audition. And select the folder. Okay, even though for me I like film sequence because we are working in film, we're going to follow the book for this because it's what the source media is in, and the book is intended more for music production than film. So 44.1 is the sample rate for most of the projects in this book. All right. Session name. Actually, they want it to be audio for video. Selected my location, template none, 44.1, 16 bits, and master stereo, which matches the settings from the book. I've already put it in browse where I want to save it. Okay. Now we're going to open the Lesson 12 folder. And the folder Audio for Video file. And drag Promo into the beginning of track 1. And it's okay, I didn't get it right at the beginning. We can always drag it in over here. And we see now we have video. And if this was smaller, see, this will scale to size to show the whole video clips. That looks like it's something that has been fixed, that it scales now automatically in version 25 from when this book was written. Now, if we open a video file with audio channels, it will add them at the same time for the video reference. You can see when we play this, here we go. It's playing the video file. That's an interesting point the book makes, that videos that don't have synced sound, but if they have good quality sound, people show an identical video with different audio quality judge the videos with better sound as having better video quality. So it's worth it. All right. We're going to go back to our editor panel, and we will open Finish Soft. And if we don't see it here, you could also go over to your files to open Finish Soft. So go back to the editor and Finish Soft. All right, and let's play it to listen.
You'll hear the file play from start to finish.
And that the words to finish are very low volume. So we're going to highlight it and just click and drag to the end. And now we get the HUD volume control. And if we adjust up 6 decibels, that should be a perceived difference in volume of twice the amplitude. Okay. Well, we see that waveform is still pretty small, but every time we do this, it resets, because this resets and now is as if it's 0 decibels for change, and a new change will be based on the current level.
To finish.
And I'm just going to bring this up till I feel like it looks like about the same waveforms as the other waveforms in size, and listen to it again from the beginning.
You'll hear the file play from start to finish.
Little too loud. Okay, so I could select this and take it down a bit.
You'll hear the file play from start to finish.
Okay. You can also do edit, undo, amplify if you want to undo things. So actually, let's undo the last
To
two.
finish.
And let's see if just a +6 decibel volume change was enough.
You'll hear the file play from start to finish.
All right, actually, I think I'm just going to move it up like 2. You can also do this with typing.
Start to finish.
Cool. I'm happy with that. And you can click anywhere to deselect. Okay, now we're going to practice cut, copy, and paste. And we'll leave this open. And we will go to narration 5. And let's listen to it as is.
First, once the files are loaded, select the file you want to edit from the drop-down menu. Well, actually, you need to go to the File menu first, select Open, then choose the file you want to edit. Remember, you can open up multiple files at once.
Okay, so we're going to clean that up. And we're going to find that first which I think was here. That's it. And we can zoom in to do this more precisely. I want to get rid of that little click at the end. There's a difference between edit, cut, and edit, delete. Cut removes the region but places it in the currently selected clipboard, so it can be pasted elsewhere. Delete removes the region but does not place it in the clipboard and leaves whatever is in the clipboard. Now I'm looking for the skip selection button, which is right down here, skip selection, and we can put our play here and click skip selection and play.
Let
me go back a little more.
File you want to edit. File you want to edit.
Cut out a little bit less of the And then we'll say edit, delete.
want to edit from the file you want to edit from the drop-down menu. Well, actually,
all right, and I just used my mouse to roll back to here. Zoom in a little bit.
Select the file you want.
Okay. Now we want to remove the throat clearing. I'm going to hit play to find it.
Want to edit
exactly
from the drop-down menu. Well, actually, you need to go to the File menu first, select Open, then choose the file you want to edit. Remember, you can open up multiple...
Okay, so I use pause to stop.
Open.
And I've got where it is. Now, we're going to delete the second that's in the audio, but we want to be careful to not delete, to cut off the beginning of the word multiple. But it's going to become too tight a transition between the words. So let's take a look at this.
You can open up...
Take off skip selection.
Open up multiple files at once.
I think it's right to there. We'll do skip selection to see what this sounds like.
You can multiple file. You can multiple file. Can
Where is the phrase multiple files? So we'll take off skip selection.
Can open up multiple files at once. You can open up...
So we need the open up. So there are two different things. It's the clearing. Okay, so we got to get rid of that. Let's do our skip selection and see how this sounds.
Open up. You can open up... Remember, you can open up multiple... Remember, you can...
Okay. Take just a little bit less. And I'm just going to hit the delete button on my keyboard. And it's gone.
And open up...
There's that that we want to get rid of. Skip selection still on.
Open up multiple...
Okay. So what the book is pointing out is that it might be a little bit too tight without some silence inserted here. And this is where we would use room tone to fill in if there was background noise. So now we're going to say edit insert silence. And it will bring up the length of the silence, which matches the region. Now we're probably going to need to delete some of this. Let's take off skip selection.
Open up multiple files.
Yeah, so let's delete that. Let's see how that sounds with skip selection on.
Open up multiple. Open up multiple. Open up multiple.
All right, let's delete that. So I'll hit delete. All right, now let's talk about zero crossings. When you define a region and the boundary occurs where the level is anything other than 0, it may result in a click on playback. If it occurs on a zero crossing, a place where the waveform transitions from positive to negative or vice versa, there is no rapid level change and no click. After you make a selection, Audition can automatically optimize the region boundaries so they fall on zero crossings. Click Edit Zero Crossings and select one of the options. Edit Zero Crossings. So here we go. So we can adjust it inward so that the boundaries would be closer, outward, further apart, and so on and so forth. We'll just say inward. And let's see how that sounds.
Multiple files.
Let's just check.
Remember, you can open up multiple files at once.
Good enough for this exercise. So if the silent gap is too long or too short, you can define part of the silence as a region and skip selection so you can figure out if you deleted the right amount. And you do that by listening. And then you can do edit, delete to shorten the gap or hit delete on your keyboard. Okay, now we're going to change the sentence structure into a more coherent narration. So just a good practice. If you're doing editing, you want to save this file because we're doing destructive editing. So I'm going to say save as narration 05 edit, and I will leave the settings the same. This way I have not destructively edited my original file for exercises. Okay, so we're going to select, once the files are loaded, select the file you want to edit from the drop-down menu. Looks like this is near the beginning.
First, once the files are loaded, select the file you want to edit from the drop-down menu.
Okay. So I want to select this section. I can always zoom in if I need to see it a little more easily. Okay, and then we're going to say edit, set current clipboard, clipboard 1, which is empty. And I will place it there, or we could do Control 1 for Windows or Command 1 for Mac. So we'll do it with the keyboard, with the mouse right now. And if we want to put it into 1, we can also do Control X in Windows, Command X in Mac. And now it's been cut out and it is on the clipboard. So if we go up to our clipboard, we see that there is something in clipboard 1. Now we want to go to the part of the file that says go to the file menu first.
Well, actually, you need to go to the file menu first, select open, then choose the file you want to edit.
Okay, so that's here to here.
Go to the file menu first.
Okay. Now we can hit Control 2 in Windows, Command 2 in Mac to put it to clipboard 2. So Control, I usually use a Mac 2. And it is in clipboard 2 selected. And then cut. So I could Command X, cut. Now we're going to put something into clipboard 3. You'd really have to have notes to remember all of this without someone guiding you, and that's why we edit off of text so often.
Remember, you can open up multiple files at once.
Okay. Control 3. So we have our current clipboard, and you see that down here in the corner, clipboard 3 selected. And cut. So it's in clipboard 3. Okay, so we're left with a few phrases left. All right, now they want to get rid of everything left. So Control A, Command A, and delete. Bam, we have an empty audio file. Nothing here. Now we have the introduction we want in clipboard 2. So we'll say Control 2 to select clipboard 2 at the bottom. And then edit paste. Ta-da! There it is.
Go to the file menu first, select open, then choose the file you want to edit.
Okay. And we're going to click in the waveform to deselect. We're going to place the next one at the end, but you could place the playhead wherever to insert it. And now we want to go to clipboard 3, so Command 3, clipboard 3 selected, then edit paste or Control V. Okay, there we go. Deselect. Go to the end of the playhead. Now we want to go to clipboard 1, Control 1, Control V, and paste. Now let's listen to this whole thing.
Go to the File menu first, select Open, then choose the file you want to edit. Remember, you can open up multiple files at once. Once the files are loaded, select the file you want to edit from the drop-down menu.
Okay. Now we could clean this up a little bit if we're like, it's a little bit long
Go
there.
to the File menu first, select Open, then choose.
I think this is a little long. So let's just get rid of that. All right. So we can do Control X to cut, or we could hit delete. And we cut some of that out. And remember, we could say 0 crossings, adjust selection inward if there was a little bit of a pop.
Then choose the file you want to edit. Remember,
Okay, let's say we wanted to insert a little bit of silence here. We don't have to drag a whole area because it would just replace with silence. We want to just leave it as the playhead and then go to Edit, Insert, Silence, and let's say like just a teeny bit.
File you want to edit. Remember, you can.
Cool. Okay, and we'll save this because it's the edited version, and now we are going to close all files before we go into the next part of the lesson. So File, Close All, and we're going to say no to everything because we don't want to adjust our source files. Now let's look at Mix Paste. So as well as adding or removing sections of audio, we can merge sections of audio with another. It doesn't extend or shorten the audio or write over another one. They are combined into one. So let's add a symbol to a piece of music. Okay, so we're going to open up in the Lesson 3 folder, which we can do File Open, or we can double click here. I'm already in the Lesson 3 folder, Symbol, and Ubershell Pop. So I did Control and clicked on those two and open. Okay, let's select the symbol. Control A to select it all. So Mix Paste has several other options. Insert opens up space in the file for what you're pasting. Overwrite replaces the audio for the duration of what you're pasting. And Modulate causes the pasted audio to change the existing audio's waveform as well as mix the two together. And you can choose the audio source, which can be from the clipboard or another file altogether. So we are going to copy to the current clipboard. Let's go ahead and select clipboard 1 by hitting Control 1, clipboard 1, and Control C to copy the symbol sound. Then in the editor panel window, we will select Ubershell Pop Charts. Let's play this. Okay, good enough for me. Let's go back to the beginning and say Edit, Mix Paste, which is also Control Shift V. Here's where we get options. Where is it coming from? Audition clipboard 1. And we want the symbol to be mixed, so we're going to say overlap, not insert, overlap, mix. And we're going to adjust the mix to avoid distortion, because if they're already at maximum volume, we'd need to reduce each one by at least 50% to avoid distortion so that the mix levels don't exceed the maximum available headroom. So we're going to set the copied audio volume down to about 70%. And we will, crossfade, everything matches, and we'll say okay. Now let's hear what this sounds like. I'm going to deselect so I can hear the whole thing. All right, and that's how you do a mixed paste. Let's close everything and not save the changes. Close all. No changes saved. Now we're going to create a loop. And a loop is a piece of music that repeats, and you can make a library of loops and create your own loops. All right, file open. We're in lesson 3 already. Uber shall pop. And we're going to press this loop playback button. It's right down here in the transport controls right next to record. And we'll select a region that makes musical sense when looped. We've already played this a little bit. I'm not going to do it again. I'm just going to use what they gave for the sake of timing. No, wait, that went to the end. Wait. Once I make a selection, selection view is down here in the bottom right-hand corner. I can then change the selection to 07. Point 742, and the end is at 09.673. That's, sorry, I need to go had too many zeros. That's not giving me the duration that they have. Okay. Or this is just a really short loop. No, that can't be it. Okay. There we go. The colon at the end with their setup. 673. No. Start. 07 742. That puts it to start time of I was not in decimal. That's the problem because I work more in film. Needs to be in decimal. Here we go. Now our times match. And I can type in the numbers from the book. There we go. Move this over to take a look. We have our loop button on. There we go. So we have a loop, and we can say edit, copy to new, or Shift Alt C. I'm going to do it in with the mouse so we can show you. Edit, copy to new. And now we are in a new file called Untitled. There we go. So we can save the individual selection in a couple of ways. File, save selection as. You could do this copy to new. We go back here. We could say File, save selection as, and then that goes ahead and pulls up our save window and we can save it. Or cut and copy. And we can switch between these two, the original and the loop. Now that we have the loop, let's save it. File, save as, and we will call this lesson 3 loop. And I want to put this in my lesson 3. And it's defaulting to what it was. Okay. Sometimes we want to know the information about what we are working with, right? And that's this information underneath here. And you can right click on the status bar and choose data under cursor. And if we then move the waveform over the waveform, you can see down at the bottom of the screen the numbers changing of are we in left, are we in right, what's the amplitude, that information. Okay, now we're going to add some fades. We're going to open in the lesson 3 folder, P-pop. Let's open.
P-popping is one of the most annoying things that can happen when recording narration. P-popping.
Okay. So we see this spike. That corresponds to the pop.
P-popping.
You hear it right there? That. Right, this noise right at the beginning.
P-pop.
So in the upper left-hand corner is a fade in, and we can drag it, and we see how that's adjusting the waveform. So like we can fade all this out. Or we can just get rid of the problem. If you drag the fade in button up or down, it alters the fade shape. Control key to change fade shape. There we go. Control key.
P-popping.
There we go. There's another pop at 0.2. Oh, yeah.
Popping.
Right there. We could cut it, do a fade in, and paste it back. We can select it and use the volume control to drop it in level.
Popping. Popping.
Oh, put on loop. Okay.
Popping is.
So that just took it down a little bit. They did the whole region. I thought the beginning was more objectionable.
Peep hopping is...
There we go. Now, if we want to shorten the file to end with that can happen, instead of that can happen when recording narration, let's go to the end of the file.
When recording
So there's the start of when recording narration.
when recording narration.
So now we can just delete that, and then we can add a fade out. So drag it to the left about 2 seconds, then down about -30. And let's see how our artifacts are.
Things that can happen. The most annoying things that can happen.
Oh, we want to fade out more than that. I see this is the thing.
That can happen.
No, too much. So I'm going to hit Control-Z to undo that.
It can happen.
There we go. All right. So that is it for lesson 3 in the book.